Hi, Faisal.
Hi, Shelley.
Nice to be with you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
So, our last conversation, you talked about hidden realms and hidden domains and essential qualities and lots of things that I'd love to hear more about. And also what your intentions are in terms of these conversations that we're recording.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I think one of the intentions that I hold in my heart about this conversation is the revelation of a knowledge that has landed and that can be accessible to people, but never been revealed. Which is that there is something more than this physical reality that spiritual people talk about, and that this has been a mystery and mystical experiences, but never been specifically named and pointed to and defined. And part of these talks, I want to reveal that. I want to reveal this mystery and take away these auras of mysticism around it, and maybe make it even scientific, that all of spirituality is really frequencies in the universe. Just because we don't know them and we don't have the instruments to detect them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. We didn't know there were X-rays 100 years ago, but now we do, So these dimensions that I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna name them as I have experienced them, as I witnessed them, and it could be a big challenge to many people, because it's very hard to see them the way I am talking about them. It requires development of seeing and sensing and sensitivity to detect the frequencies of these elements, these emanations of being. I am a seer, It's not like Don Juan seeing, it's a different kind of seeing. I see dimensions that Don Juan and Carlos Castaneda in his books talk about emanations from the ego. There are emanations, there are bands of emanations. And for me, I can see what those bands are. And I call them, these are essential states. This is pure being differentiating itself in different frequencies, different emanations. And those frequencies for a seer can be really seen. Their colors can be sensed, their textures, they have densities, they have lightness, they have different textures, different colors, and some of them have different forms. And because I am a seer, I was able to perceive them, to see them directly in the inner realm. By closing the eyes, you can open this capacity of seeing, and you can really see, feel, sense, know at the same time. This is one of the beautiful, magical quality of what we are, We as human beings are not made of just the body. We are made of much more precious element than just the body. The body is very precious, but there are also other elements that are very rich, and they have very soothing, enriching, enlightening effect when they are circulating in our system. In childhood, we had access to them. They were flowing. During the stages of growth, we lose those qualities one after the other. And the more we lose of those qualities, our experience of existence, of life, of reality get limited, get narrowed down to an ego view of life, or a personality, rigid personality structures that doesn't allow us the richness of who we are. The closest I can think of the human being is a hologram. We are holographic being, multi-dimensional hologram that can incorporate time, space, and other dimensionality that are not just physical. In fact, there are much more structures that are made of other elements that even when the body dies, these elements remain. And they've been mentioned in other, in religions and spirituality. They talk about soul, as we said. They talk about a higher self. They talk about pure being. They talk about, even like in America, they have this beautiful song, "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Sweet Chariot, take me home." Chariot, and we think it's death and dying. Maybe there is a chariot, but what kind? I mean, there's a lot of those things that are mentioned, but never been defined and never been told what is their nature and what do they do. It's left as a mystery. We hear about a chariot. This chariot is not new. This chariot is called Markaba in Hebrew. In Jewish tradition and Kabbalah, it's called Markaba. Markaba means a vehicle, a chariot. But what is this chariot? And then we see, for example, sacred architecture. You see? We see a cathedral, we see a mosque, we see a Kaaba, we see a stupa. Where do those structures come from? Is it just a matter of functionality in this world? Or is there another realm in which there exist structures, in which there exist qualities that we now don't have the ability to see? Maybe an inspired architect can see a cathedral in the hidden realm and download that design and make, and manifest it in our realm, build it according to that design. I think before there was less barrier between humanity and the invisible realm. The intellect, the mind was not so rigid, was not so calcified to the point that we cannot see through those veils to the hidden realm. Jung, for example, C.G. Jung, the psychoanalyst, had abilities of seeing, and he witnessed things in the hidden realm, what we call the hidden realm, and he called them archetypes. But what are those archetypes? When he said the eternal puer, this eternal youth, or the wise old crone or man or something, you can sense something there, within the psyche or the mind or the body that seems to be like as if it is trying to be eternally youthful. But is that just an ego part? Is that only a narcissistic part, or a part attached to being child or teenage and didn't grow? Or is there an authentic eternal youth, an archetype of a youth that never ages? And that youth, when we lose it, we develop a certain kind of narcissism. I want to just be the puer and just play in the cosmos. But maybe the concept comes from something authentic. Maybe the wise old crone or man or something comes from something in the hidden realm, in our hidden realm, in our soul, in our being, or something wise and ancient. It's an archetype. It's not a wish of a child for just an elder. It is something much more existing. Then we hear about angels in certain traditions, There are Michael and Raphael and all kind of beautiful angels. And some seers, some psychic can see them as angels, as some kind of a human being with wings and light and colors and all of those things. What are those? Is there something that when you really open up and perceive it, you can see the origin of this angelic form? That there is something fundamental, something of great suchness, as Zen say, And for the seer, depending on their ability to see, can see it as a wise old man, or can see it as Angel Gabriel, or it depends on the gradations of seeing. So there is so much to us that got buried and we don't see it. And
I have a question.
Yes.
I have just to clarify.
Yeah.
When you're talking about these hidden realms, let's say angels, let's say these archetypes, the crone, child.
Yes.
Are you referring to a frequency within the being, within the human being? Are you talking about frequency beyond human existence?
The idea that there is anything beyond the human experience, to me, doesn't exist. There isn't anything beyond the human experience.
Okay.
It's just a matter of whether we pay enough attention to it or not. We can't cultivate it. So when I talk about me as a seer, I was a poet. I spent my life in poetry, and you know how poets are, in their mind and imagination and the beauty and all of those things.
And heart.
And heart, the beauty, yeah, the seeing of the heart, the beauty of that, beautiful. So I spent so much, even though I was majoring in science, and my major in school was mathematics, but I spent most of my time meandering in the imaginary realm, and writing beautiful poetry about this and about that. This ability to see images, is poets have some kind of maybe access to it that most people don't. So by me being able to see those images, when I went into spirituality, it enabled me to have more courage and more curiosity to see if I can see the feelings that were running in my system. Do those feelings running in my system, do they have any colors or forms or light? Like when I feel heat in my body, then I say, okay, if I look at the heat, besides it make me feel strong and energized, and revitalized, does it have any color? Being a little bit more able in transparency of looking, the inner looking, and familiar with it, I could see that when the heat comes, it has a color. And the color was red. So I said, oh, there is red energy. There is this energy is run in the human body. It produces heat and warmth. So we called it red essence. Right?
Okay. So are you saying, just for a little more clarification, so are you saying that all of the levels of electromagnetic frequencies that we can detect scientifically and beyond, are you saying that they are a creation of the human being?
No, not necessarily about creation, about that they are accessible to the human being.
Accessible, okay.
Yeah, that nowadays, as you know, science and spirituality are beginning to merge and beginning to meet and begin to somehow see that there is truth in each some of them, and getting inspired. I mean, science inspired me so much to make spirituality more scientific, and spirituality inspires me to modify the limitations of science. Science is very limited. Science is immature. Science is like a teenager. It was a child, now it's a teenager. It's going to be youthful, and it's going to be mature, and it's going to discover, discover all what we talk about in spirituality. But in spirituality, we talk about dimensions, that science is just beginning to open to the possibility of their existence. That it is, there may be something more, including like nowadays, they're excited about that. Maybe something comes out of nothing. But Buddha talked about that 4,000 years ago, the void shunyata, and from the void emerges creation and manifestation, and nature of mind is emptiness, you know. So Buddha experienced what do they call it, the science now in physics?
Well,
quantum.
they're the quantum physics, but they're also saying, actually quantum physics, like Einstein, one of Einstein's main theories has been disproved now.
Yes.
And they've identified the God particle.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's reaching the mystery. That was a mystery. And even about Einstein, I think they found that it's not that it is wrong or it's disproved. It is applied to one dimension. Mm-hmm. Before it was more about everything, and now they see that no, it's applicable to one dimension, but there are other dimensions that this doesn't apply to. So yes, it's valid, but it's valid only in this realm. You know? In fact, Einstein theory talks about the unified field, but the unified field is what Buddha nature is. It's a unified field. You know? Buddha sensed it directly. He didn't have the mathematical equations. He didn't have the scientific tools to articulate it like Einstein and, you know, make it a scientific fact. But he had direct experience of it. So this direct experience of the unified field is accessible to all of humanity. It doesn't need any proof or no proof. Maybe science in time will catch up to the ability of the human being, sensing, in touch with dimensions of reality that we still don't know yet in science. Science is trying, and science is, you know, and some of it is really beautiful, brave, and some of it is grandiose. You know, they sometimes they get into the grandiosity of trying to, you know, like measure air with a stick or something like that. Like, you know, they don't have the right tool, they don't have the right understanding, you know, but now they are at least not as rigid as before. The scientists now, new generations are coming, they are resilient in their mind and psyche. And that accesses them to the being, downloading the spiritual teaching in scientific modality, in scientific knowledge, in scientific way. For example, one of the amazing things that there are now new machines, you know, since Rife, I think Rife is the one who pioneered in machines detecting frequencies, you know, and some of the machines being developed to give even biofeedback, things like that. And yeah, and those machines, when Rife Rife machine was damaged and his knowledge was destroyed.
By the FBI, right?
Sorry?
By the FBI?
Yeah. They did it, you know, all of those. This knowledge, his student carried it to Germany, to Poland, to Russia. They developed it. We regressed it here in America, but they developed it. And now they are coming up with a new frontier of healing and therapy and all of those things, which is frequency-based. You know, that the whole universe, including the body, is made of different frequency. And the frequency of the liver is different from the frequency of the heart, different from the frequency of the, you know, and they could measure those frequencies, and they invented machines. You know, one of them is very famous machine in Germany and in Europe called the Oberon. It's not even allowed to be here in America. The Oberon machine, O-B-E-R-O-N, Oberon machine. And it can detect the frequency of all the cells in the body. And it knows the healthy frequency of the different organs. And when this organ goes off, it can detect how off they are, which are the off frequencies that they are in, and can send to the cells the healthy frequencies to awaken the memory banks in the cells. When an organ gets sick, the cells in it lose the memory of the healthy frequency. So the machine can detect if there is something, let's say, in the liver, the machine can detect where in the liver and can go all the way even to the DNA in the liver and see what is the off in which part of the DNA, and then send the frequency to awaken the memory in the liver, in those cells. And if you give it time, 6 months, 8 months, the cells begin to regenerate themselves and begin to bring the healthy frequency, and it produces a lot of healing. I have a friend of mine who worked there, and he works with so many difficult cases that usually medicine field have extreme difficulty with, and he has so much success about. And it's amazing frontier for me. Like, wow, they are measuring the frequencies, you know, of the organs. And he's also like a student of mine. And one day he came to the retreat and brought the machine, you know, with him. And in one of my retreats, I usually do healing night. We sit and meditate and pray for the divine to bring us healing, transformation, whatever is needed, for grace to interfere with our process and guide us. He measured the field, the room that we are in. He put the this machine, the Avaron machine, measured the field before the frequency, before the healing. And then we went into the healing for an hour, and he turned on the machine. The frequency of the machine went about 68% higher.
Wow.
There was literally a higher frequency of healing and transformation in the room that the machine detected it. And then he said, why don't we play with it? You know? So I am a transmitter. I'm not only a seer, but somehow I have the gift of transmitting the quality. I can embody it and intend it to emanate in the room, and it can work. It's beautiful skill. Anybody can have it. It's simple. It just needs practice. Nothing magical. You know, we are the magical being. So
I don't know. You have a gift of tenderness that I don't think could be easily developed by the average Joe.
I think it can. I was an average Joe. I was worse than an average Joe.
I don't know.
Really, if people know my history, you know, when I really fell in the 60s to the lowest depression and all of those, to no hope, and to have risen to where I am, I remember saying, if I make it, anybody can make it in existence. Okay. Yeah? But what I had that most people don't have is perseverance. I persisted. I was like a camel in the desert. One step at a time. Patience, perseverance, practice, seeking. I genuinely gave it all what it takes. And
what gave you that incentive? What gave you that incentive? What motivated you?
Desperation. I was desperate. To me, it was, I either make it or kill myself. It was so terrible, you know, so depressed, so lost, so meaningless. I came from Kuwait, mud village, to the 60s in Berkeley, you know, groovy and marijuana, and like, my God, you know, and crazy people with flower children, like, what is this? You know, it really messed me up. I got lost in Bardo. I got lost in dimensions that I thought I could never come out, you know.
What years, just for reference?
66, 65, 66, long time ago, long time. In Berkeley, the 60s, when it, you know, I was there when, you know, they started the free speech movement. But being desperate about it, I really wanted to be normal again. I wanted to get out of depression. I wanted to finish my school. I wanted to go back to Kuwait. I wanted to take care of the education system in Kuwait. I wanted to be the Minister of Education in Kuwait and change the whole education system. So that motivation, that pain and lostness and fear, there was nobody to turn to. I had to do it on my own. I didn't have money to go to therapists. I got little guidance here, little guidance there, you know, and that made me like desperate to make it. And once I developed that perseverance, you know, out of desperation, out of fear, out of loneliness, it became like a way of life. Like I cultivated the inner camel. To cross the desert, you have to really cultivate patience, perseverance, all of those things.
That's a book title.
Yes,
Cultivating the Inner Camel.
yes, it was really helpful, really helpful. So to me, if I make it from that, pigeonhole, from that dungeon to this level of seeing and perceiving, and I feel like anybody can. Not everybody are where or are in the same stage I was in. But I see there is a lot of indulgence, people spoiled. I didn't have a therapist. I was in Kuwait 7 years alone. I was the only therapist in Kuwait. The students were dependent on me. So that put me in extreme sense of need. I cannot indulge. I cannot. If I fall, I knew if I fall from my meditation and just get lost, I cannot go to a session to have my therapist or my teacher set me on the track again. So that need, that desperation made me feel like I cannot indulge. I really cannot indulge. When you feel so much pain, so much lostness, it creates, like immense motivation. So those made me really do as much as I can, including the ability cultivating seeing, cultivating sensing, cultivating emanation and transmission. And as you journey into these dimensions, you also get guided by being itself. By being itself taught me how to see. Being itself taught me how to transmit, how to be and to transmit. All the little intricacies come with the package, with being itself. It brings that. So being able to transmit, my friend brought me bottles, of water, and he said, transmit state in them. So I started transmitting this golden love, this one pink love, this one pure consciousness, this one, you name it. And I just meditate and transmit to it. And he downloaded them in the Abaron machine. And sometimes when he works with some people and he senses, he's also in the work, he knows this, spirituality and the hidden dimensions. He says that maybe that person needs this transmission, the quality itself. So he transmit the quality, by the Abaron machine to the person. And he said, it really enhanced the healing. It really worked. It really helped, So I believe there comes time when all those dimensions of essence I mention about, I talk about, I name them so people can be acquainted with their names. I call it gold, I call it diamond, but I also try to define what is gold. It's love. What is diamond? It's consciousness. So you can get the idea that it is consciousness and it is love, but it is also a specific frequency, a specific emanation. I believe in no time, we will detect the hidden realm when science awakens from its limitation and begin to see that from this great being comes different emanations. And this is the essential domain. And these emanations can be detected. And that these different emanations can affect not only the psyche and the mind, but also the body. Liver trouble needs so much red essence, and lung trouble needs some green essence, so these qualities that are frequencies can be detected in their frequencies, in their colors, in their psychological effect, and also in their physical health, what they can do to the body. So to me, that I want to reveal these dimensions that are hidden. Maybe not many will believe it, not many can see, but I hope it inspires them to look or to feel or to sense or to taste, because each quality of essence can affect our five senses, can affect the body, and can be detected. So this part of my inspiration about this, that I want to reveal the hidden realm. I want to remove this excessive ego halos of mystery and mystical about something very human, very natural, very fundamental, existing in reality, but we just don't pay enough attention to it. We don't perceive it. So I want to reveal things that maybe for many will be like, I don't know, hallucinations, and or for others it could be affirming their experiences, naming it, defining it, locating it, inspiring them to work with it. They are all qualities and frequencies that we can detect and work to cultivate, work in our issues, in our body, in our, like psychology, to be more open to incorporate them. So this is part of my intention. I really want to reveal what is not being revealed much, little here and little there. And I want to reveal it not as a spiritual, I am not even a spiritual teacher or person. I am a pioneer. I'm riding my Arabian camel or Arabian horse and going to different domains. Then I come back with good news. I say, oh, there is a valley over there. I don't know much about it. I've seen green trees and I've seen a river. Go and explore it. So I talk about the essential domains, but the essential domain is a kingdom. It's an immense kingdom. It's the holy cities, the jewels that we talk about, and Jerusalem. When you read the Bible, Jerusalem, this magnificent city with 8 pearly gates and rivers and golden street and palaces. This is the essential domain. It's with us. It's a different frequency. So in our map of the 3 domains, there is the physical universe, and now we see more of it than ever. And then there is we know so much about now our physical universe we didn't know about so much. Now there is also the spiritual domain. It's becoming more accessible. People now can reach it through all kinds of meditations, yoga, even psychedelics. They can have mystical experiences. Carlos Castaneda talk about it. Claudio Naranjo, bless his soul, he just passed away. One of my great teachers talk about it. Rinpoche's talk about it. So there is this spiritual domain of inner richness. And this is the second domain. The third domain is the being itself, source, the unified field, from which comes those qualities, and those qualities gel in the material realm as forms and colors we see. Those 3 domains, I know a little about those hidden 2 realms, the invisible realms, the frequencies that usually cannot be seen by eyes or sensed by taste or these things, but if we really open our deeper refined senses of tasting, we can taste them. And inner.
Excuse me, Faisal. I'm sorry to interrupt, but at the moment you said Jerusalem, there was a tremor here. As you know, I'm in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And so if this video, if we lose our electricity, which we might because there's some shaking happening here,
sorry.
We'll pick this up.
Okay.
I will call you on my cell phone.
Yes.
But I just want you to know, that's why I'm looking to the left, because I'm seeing my bookcase shake.
Okay. I will not mention then Jerusalem.
Jerusalem anymore.
Believe it. No more. No more. Yes.
Gosh.
Oh, I hope it's just a minor.
There were 3, since every time you see my eyes go to the left, that's what's happening. So I don't want to distract you, but I want you to know that that's happening a little bit here. So
no, this is fine, please. I'm fine. I'm relaxed about all of this,
Okay. Oh, that's fine because you're up north.
Yes, I am in the north.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just in case it flashed off, I wanted you to understand what was happening.
Thanks. No, I really hope this is it, and we will not go mention. So these things that seem to be mystical and mysterious, but we see it all around people. Like when you look at Christianity, uh, beside the suffering Christ on the cross. This is a great symbol of the human soul and its evolution. You look, you see Mary in her crown, she wearing crown and beautiful robe and jewels, and there is a statue I saw in Italy of the Black Madonna, and she wearing a beautiful crown, carrying a baby with a crown. And then on Sunday, they bring literally a robe. She's big inside, the size of a human. And they bring this robe that is studded with all kind of colorful jewels, rubies and diamonds and all of those things. Then they wrap her with it. So there she is, the black being, the black source, the black essence, the Black Madonna, wearing a crown and robe of jewel. You know, and we call the robe of jewel, we call it the robe of glory, the robe of the chandelier of manifestation, the jewel of manifestation. So we have names for it, but they have it, but nobody questions. Why is Mary black? What state is she holding? And why is she white here? And why is she blue or golden here? You know, and why is Christ coming in full color and glory? I look at him, right? I have a little picture here of him, golden light and glory, and pointing to his heart. And in his heart, where he is putting his hand, a star is shining. What a star is that? You know, and sometimes we see this beautiful crosses, you know, but the cross, there is no suffering Christ on the cross. There's a big star. Today I was seeing on YouTube, you know, I think somewhere in Egypt, you know, it's one of the crosses they carry is a cross with this shining sun from it, you know, emanation. What is that? A sun on a cross? We are surrounded by beautiful symbolism. You go and you see, you look at those cathedrals. What is this beautiful design? When you go, you feel touched and moved. You know? And why is there is in every cathedral there is a steeple? And why in every mosque there is a minaret? And why Tibetans have a stupa? You know? And why do we have chandelier lamps hanging?
Why?
Yeah, we are surrounded by objects of sheer beauty. When we see them, they affect us, you know. And when we look at, let's say, not so modern architecture now has become more creative. But in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, you know, the architecture lost its beauty. It became, you make a box and you put apartments in it and efficiency, you know, efficient boxes. But no arches, no curves, no design, no, all of those things. The whole touch of beauty or mysticism, all of that started disappearing and got replaced by mathematical equations, by just limitations of time and space and efficiency. While before there was so much richness.
And the need for corporate profit margin.
Exactly, it adds to it, you know. Then you look at Persian rugs. It's always the same design, you know. A mandala in the middle, and in the middle of the mandala there is a star, and the mandala is surrounded by 8-petal flower, and the 8-petal flower is surrounded by, you know.
Yeah.
Right, see it? Right there, yeah. Behind you.
That's right.
An archetype. What is this design? What is it saying? You know, we are surrounded by infusion from this hidden realm, this invisible realm, inspiration of high beings who reached it and who brought us gift from it. But we lost the connection to what it means. What's it about? You know, what is this mandala there in the rug? What is this stupa? What is this chandelier? This questioning takes me to the, like, there is our realm, this realm which has the realm of millions of manifestations. Then there is the essential realm. You know, I will not name it. This essential realm. In this essential realm, and deeper than the essential realm, is the source, the being itself. You know, the source itself. But from this source comes manifestation, like what I call emanations, different emanations. This hidden realm has two aspects. This intermediary realm has two aspects. One aspect is I call dimensions. They are dimensions of being. Like space, when you look at the space in the room around you, this is a dimension of a space. You know, when you look at light, there is this dimensions of light. Space can have multicolored space, right? Could be transparent space, could be white space, could be black space. Lights can be the same: red light, white light, transparent light, clear light. You know, variety of light. There are other dimensions. You know, sometimes they used to call them ethereal, the ethereal realm. So many realms, you know, like that. These are dimensions. These are emanations. Water is another dimension. Diamond, there is a whole dimension, emanation of infinite of diamonds. Just a realm of diamond. Frequency. What are diamonds? Diamond is light compressed and became just like coal. When you compress coal, it becomes a diamond. Light, when it is compressed, it becomes a diamond, shining with emanation and light and knowledge and all of those things. So there is, they used to call them the seven heavens. So one of the heavens is a diamond heaven. Another heaven is a crystal heaven. Another heaven is a golden heaven. Another heaven is white heaven. You know, different emanations from.
Faisal,
yes.
When you say they used to call them, who's the they? Are you talking Sufi? With
yeah, and like in religion, right? In religion, like in Judeo-Christian, Islamic, you know, the lineage of the prophets, you know.
All three, seven heavens.
Yeah, we have seven earth and seven heavens, you know. Okay. And when you ask what are those heavens, they say golden heaven, and different systems have different classification. They are all touching the elephant in the dark. They're all seeing this dimension and that dimension and this and that, you know. But there is an elephant in the room, an elephant in the dark that can be opened and seen, the glory, which is the essential dimension. This essential dimension, some of it is, I call it dimension. Those dimensions are boundless in nature. There's no limit to them. Like space is not bounded. It's infinite from here to eternity. Light from here to eternity. Gold, ocean of gold is from here to eternity, to infinity. These are emanations coming from the ocean of being. There is the ocean of being, the absolute nature, and come from it emanation, frequencies, light, diamond, crystals, gold, precious metals. These are elements, and they, even though they are beautiful for a seer to see them, and they are also enriching as experience when you feel the frequency of gold. I think Tibetan call them Buddha families. You know, Trungpa talk about Buddha families in his book called Spiritual Materialism. He talks about the 5 Buddha families, but there are much more than the 5 Buddha families, much more. That these emanations, when you feel them as a human being, like when gold comes, it has effect on the human being, maybe not the same effect on a tree. See? It does something to the human psyche, human soul, human mind, and gives it a feeling. And let's say for gold comes sweet love. When gold comes, it feels sweet love. You know? But maybe for a tree, it's not exactly love. You know? Even though it is love, but for a tree, it becomes a certain sustenance, becomes fiber, tissues. Those qualities can create body, form, textures, and also affect the psyche, certain way, affect the mind, the body. So these emanations are infinite in nature. And the more we are open to them, the more we experience richnesses, so much richnesses. If somebody never opened their heart because they got so hurt and they are so afraid and wounded and protected in their heart, they cannot experience the richness of golden love. or the softness or the sweetness of pink love, you know, or the sacredness and the intimacy of a black love, black light love, you know, all of those. These are qualities when the heart is open, can experience so much richnesses to love, or so much richnesses to will and embodiment, or clarity, or objectivity. These are qualities that when we let go of our armoring, our defenses, and deal with our specific blockages, psychological blockages, defenses, these qualities begin to run in our system. Part of the result of that is that we become a very panoramic person. We become like a kaleidoscope. When we look at reality, we see so much to it we didn't see before. You know, like sometimes I remember, like I walk from the house and there's always a tree there by the house, and I just know it's tree, I pass by it. But as I got more open, I pass by it, I see, wow, I never seen this tree before. As if the first time I see it, look at those leaves, look at those branches. Then as I opened more, it becomes more dimensional, more richness, more. So those qualities enables us to experience the richness of the reality we live in, this holistic kingdom of the three domains. You know? So the boundless dimensions are oceanic. Are those emanations, those dimensions are. Then there are.
Wait, before you go on, just for clarification. So you're saying that what the sages would have referred to in the major religions as the seven heavens, you're saying that not only are there more than seven, but that they are emanations of frequencies of essence that are infinite.
Boundless.
Boundless.
They are
so
boundless.
Boundless essence, boundless energies, boundless frequencies.
Yes, yes. Different names you can call them. You know, it's just like you have an ocean and you create a wave, and the wave can travel the whole infinity of the ocean.
Okay.
Right? It could be a little wave. It could be gentle wave. It could be a tsunami. These different kind of waves are the emanations coming from being, different frequencies. And as I said, for a seer, they can be seen as colors and light and, you know, different substances. They exist. Then there are qualities that I call vehicles. They are spiritual vehicles. These vehicles, they take our consciousness from one limited domain to another richer domain. They are conveyor belts. They are like aspects that has form. The dimensions I refer to the formless. Okay. The pure being is formless. It's one dimension of it is formless emanations, different emanations. But in this formless emanation, different emanation, there seems to be some kind of structures, archetypes. And they seem to be universal archetypes, at least the ones that I've seen, I've witnessed in my inner seeing, in my inner development, got confirmed by the reality around me that these archetypes seems to exist almost in every culture and religion, you know, and in life. Like one of the qualities, for example, is a vehicle made of diamond, jewels, diamond, and looks like a chandelier. I always wondered when I saw it, like, where did this guy in, I don't know where, in Morocco or Geneva or something, see the first chandelier, you know? Mm-hmm. And where did they come with the name chandelier way before they invented chandelier, you know? Venus, in Arabic, Venus, the planet Venus or the star, in Arabic called Thuraya, and Thuraya means chandelier. Mm. And it exemplifies, Thuraya is a feminine name. So the chandelier is a feminine aspect.
Mm.
So when the chandelier lands or experience in the system or contacted, it gives a sense of celebration, beauty, femininity, you know. That's why I call it sometimes the robe of glory. Like when Mary, they put on that robe of hair, she is not just the unmanifest being. She is not the black absolute, but she is also the manifested. She created creation. She created God. She gave birth to Jesus. You know, I mean, it's amazing to open to all of what this means, the beauty of it. So then
So
there was an archetype.
The crystal chandelier in the light, is it white light? Is it prism? All lights?
The chandelier, there is the ultimate chandelier, you know, which is made of many jewels and crystals, different colors, ruby, amethyst, you name it, green diamond, yellow diamond, red diamond. It's a chandelier made of all those jewels.
So bright frequency of a prism of colors.
A prism of colors. She comes in colors, common colors everywhere. She comes in color. You know, the Rolling Stones, they're talking about flower children, you know, at that time, coming in colors, the way they used to roll, where especially the girls put all of these, you know, crowns and colors, and, you know, and you see it in so many words, you know, especially in the Middle East. I grew up, women are very chandelier. They wear colors, you know, and I have a sister, she is a 2 in the Enneagram. If you look at her, she is always a chandelier. Different colors and light, and I mean, the dresses are all colorful. She cannot wear one color dress. It has to be, you know, and you see them so beautiful, you know, in the old time, and now they still have it in the Middle East. Beautiful colors, dresses, and jewelry. If you go to an Indian shop, look at the gold, what they have there. Necklaces this big, you know, and earrings. And this is all manifestation of the chandelier. It's a vehicle that brings a sense of joy and celebration of life, of beauty, of creativity, of orgastic capacities. Orgasm that has to do with love and joy and sharing, and not just sexual orgasm, heart, soul, mind, body orgasm. That kind of beauty, that kind of, when you have it, you just want to get up and dance. You can't just sit. When the chandelier comes, and you just want to play some music, and you want to sing, and you want to dance, and you want to move.
So when did you first experience that, Faisal?
The chandelier, I remember
feeling depressed in sometime in the late 60s and motivating you to find a path.
Oh,
and
then those qualities started landing after I had my awakening. Before, I had the glimpses of like white light, receiving white light, meditating, you know, like I did something called Fisher-Hoffman process. You receive white light and you burn karma. And I had glimpses of like chakra activation. I saw some colors and light and I freaked out. I remember going to Claudio Naranjo. I said, help, you know, I am freaking out. I am entering these colors and get me out of it. You know, he said, oh, let it open even more. I said, bye, I'm leaving. You know,
that's the Kundalini, right?
Kundalini awakening. But it was very primitive. Kundalini is very simplistic, very primitive. You need a master to guide you through the evolution of the Kundalini, to tame the snake, to cultivate it from just colors and light to substances. So then the chakras begin to exude essences, essential state, and they become doorways to receiving essential state or accessing essential state. So I had glimpses.
It was one of those teachers, Tartang Tulku?
Yes, Tartan Tulku.
That helped you?
Yeah, Tartan Tulku didn't interfere with the stage. That was before Tartan Tulku. Then with Tartan Tulku, I received the empowerment of enlightenment. Let me say it straight, you know, to awaken me to my Buddha nature, I was so much trapped in light. I loved light. I was like, receive light and bathe in light and transmit light and do healing with light. Beautiful. I was young. I was excited. I was a therapist, a healer, all of those things, you know. But then when in 76, you know, I started the journey of therapy 66, and 76, 10 years later, I had the empowerment from Tartan Tuku to awaken. So he knocked me out of the light, like the light was enough. This is kids stuff, let's go now more, you know. You could spend your life having your 4th of July and your all of those things, but let's go to the sky. Let's open up to what's beyond it. That made me realize my enlightened nature, my Buddha nature. That shifted everything. That opened the system and of course brought up 100 million issues. Nobody told me, you know. You think by getting enlightened, that's it. No, hell starts. You know, if you think you're in hell before enlightenment, wait till you get to enlightenment. You know, really. Because every issue that was stored in my fascias, in my tissues, in my body, in my unconscious, the radiance of being excavated it. All the bats of my unconscious hiding in the caves of my unconscious excavated, you know. So it was like glorious in terms of opening and feeling free from the mind, but horrifying in terms of how much shows it was revealing, you know, really like Frankenstein and everything was coming up. With the power of the enlightened nature and to be in it and to stabilize in it and dealing continually processing the issues. Here is this chunk about my mother, this is chunk about my father, this chunk about my childhood. They were all stored in my unconscious, in my body, mind, psyche. Being able to utilize my bioenergetics training as a therapist in bioenergetics, my psychological training, all of that helped me to sort out those things. Otherwise, it would have been crazy, you know. So I use grounding, processing, rationalizing those irrational fears to events that took place in my childhood. So I could see that the fears and the hurts and the anger are coming from my history. So with the power of the being, with the force being with you, with the force at least was with me, I was able also to release all of these issues. And each time I replace one big chunk, it transforms. My body opens up in a certain way and certain secretion begin to flow in my system. I remember my teacher said, every armoring, every tension, every muscle that you feel that's holding, when it relaxes, it's going to open. There is nectar in it. Sense this nectar, sense this amrita. So each time the heart open, I feel sweetness. Each time the belly open, I feel solidity. Each time the head open, I feel clarity and precision. So little by little, as I stabilized through the enlightened state itself and through handling the psychological issues, I was able to enjoy the manifestation that was beginning to open up in my inner field. And one of them was, I remember the chandelier. I think it must have been 1980, 1982, you know. I remember exactly the chandelier came, and after that came the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind. And the vehicle that came in the end of the movie, the spaceship, was exactly how I perceived the chandelier descending.
Oh, wow.
I was perceiving the universe in stillness and silence. Then from the depth of the universe above my head, I could feel a hum and something descending, shining with light and colors. And I could feel as the closer it come to my body humming. And every cell was humming with higher and higher frequency. And the frequency was full of joy. I felt like I cannot sit. I want to stand up. I know why Krishna had to get up and dance. It felt like that. Then I could see that above my head, I looked and I see this multicolored vehicle. Another quick. Powerful. We better not talk about vehicles and holy city.
And Krishna. Okay, it's passed.
I believe that when Krishna had the experience of the chandelier, he just got up and danced. I felt as if something so joyous and festive in my system began to awaken, lifting off the depression, lifting off the gloom about the world, and that the world is full of life and light and music and vibration and all of those things. This feeling was missing because I was caught in issues. And when issues lifted off, this vehicle landed, it brought this. Then I said, oh wow, this chandelier, this looks like a chandelier. And the chandelier is mentioned in so many religions. It's mentioned in the Quran. It's mentioned in traditions. Moroccan have those chandeliers from the beginning of time, thousands of years ago. Fascinating.
What is the word in Arabic for chandelier?
For chandelier, thuraya is a chandelier, and mishkat.
Mishkat. Okay.
Mishkat is a chandelier.
And Faisal, were you alone the first time that you experienced this? Were you in meditation? Were you with a group?
Yeah, most of them alone. Most of them, I have them my own unfoldment. Then I started sharing them with Almas, and bringing some of those. Then we had more exploration of them. But before that was all alone. Was seeing them. I enjoy them, but one thing about the prejudice of enlightenment that I was still so afraid to be lost in colors and light and, temptation, Like I remember at that time hearing about the story of Christ when he went in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Then in the 40 days, Satan showed up to him and he said, look, and showed him all the kingdoms. And he said to him, if you follow me, you can have all the kingdoms. And Christ said to him, what the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. You don't have anything to give me. I was in that kind of mood. I don't want temptations, even chandelier or gold, or they come, I call them blessings. Blessings come, they do emanation, joy, but I wanted the one, alone with the alone. I was absolutist. I just wanted in being. Manifestations, I didn't want. But something in me, and later on I learned more that it's good to question what are those, what do they do? And this is when we developed the diamond approach and the diamond logos, that those qualities, dimensions or vehicles, they have certain functioning to do for our human dimension, human psyche, human mind, human body, human relationship. These are vehicles that the great being, let's say, created or we created in order to access the dimension of being, the richness of it, into this world. We needed certain tools, certain instrument to convey the energies from the absolute to this realm. Okay. Just to experience this realm, and the absolute and the absoluteness is abstract. It's transcendence. It's beyond this realm. But if I'm going to have a wedding, I would like to maybe have some music, some color, some light, right? Then that, in order to even have this idea, some vehicle had to be created that can give these feelings of celebration, of expression, of manifestation. It was the chandelier. But another time, I might have needed to be the camel in the desert. Chandelier will be waste of energy. If I am crossing the desert dancing, I will die in 2 kilometers. I'll die. But I need to be somebody steady, fast, impeccable like Zazen. Nothing move me, nothing distract me, like a camel. The camel is crosses the desert, preserving the water, the breath, the energy, all of that to cross the long distances. This quality is so different from the chandelier. This is almost ascetic. This is almost pious kind of energy. Then another vehicle landed. And that vehicle, when it manifested, it looked like, I used to call it Battleship Galactica. There was this immense structure above my head, solid, dense, hum to it, but not hum of celebration, hum of groundedness, hum of digging the ground, reaching to the center of the earth.
Dark, black?
No,
color?
it was
Gray?
white. It was white and gold, but it was white diamond and gold diamond. And it looked like a citadel. So I called it the citadel.
Okay.
So the citadel is one of the archetypes we have in our work. A vehicle, when it lands, it gives you solidity, groundedness, steadfastness, that even when the devil comes to tempt you, said, no way. What the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. You don't. So the ego cannot come and take what you gained, because the ego will interfere and say, oh, I am chandelier today. I'm going to spend my life being just, producing honey and dancing. Says, no, I need sometimes to do something else. Sometimes I need to do this. Sometimes I celebrate. Sometimes I dance. Sometimes I create. Sometimes I generate. So little by little, began to discover that in this hidden realm, there were different kind of structures, archetypes. One of them looked like a citadel. One of them looked like a cathedral, or a mosque or a temple. One of them looked like the chandelier. One of them looked like stupa. So I saw that we have them on earth. Some people downloaded them way before I realized them. And by me feeling them, feeling assured, I'm not going crazy, that these are really qualities of the human soul, the human being. I began to detect what they do. In order to celebrate, in order to express, I need to let the feminine side of me be born, and colorful and light. There is no way I could wear colorful clothes when I was in Kuwait. I was a guy. I was, guys, they don't, but now I wear colorful clothes if I want to. To celebrate, I do. And to do transmissions, I put on different robes. Today I wear this robe. Today I wear that robe. I needed to interject in my life sense of celebration. But when I needed to also stay with the issues and persevere and continue with the process, so I don't get lost in just getting drunkard with essence, I needed a citadel. Citadel came. But sometimes I felt like I was like in just being unreachable. I am just openness in the absolute, but something missing in the human bonding, in the human belonging, in the human intimacy. Maybe it's not that important, but it's really important, and really feeling that feeling, then another quality was born, another vehicle was born. We call it the pearl. Pearl, P-E-R-L, pearliness is a substance that gives a sense of contactfulness, belonging, sharing, affinity. And there's the usual pearl, the white pearl, and there is also multicolored pearls. And each one gives the ability to connect. I can connect with you in a normal way, that's the normal pearl. I can connect with you in a very personal, peaceful way. And I can be a black pearl. And you can be black pearl, and we'll be together, sitting peacefully together, connecting in peace. And we can connect in compassion. We both feel the same affinity, the same feeling. So different quality, different color pearls, different substances pearl give different part of what we did. Then came,
Wait, before you move on to the next very profound subject, so the pearl, you say it descended upon you. Could you just talk a little bit about your experience with that?
I mean, the pearl, it's not exactly, the pearl was one of the things that didn't descend, it's more like emerged. Like I felt like in my heart, I was very open, and full of radiance and unconditional love, but I felt missing some of the closeness, some of the
non-attachment kind of mode.
Yeah, some kind of attachment. I was in so much non-attachment, openness, and all of those things. this feeling of attachment, after a lot of struggle about it, I accepted that. I used to feel it with my friends, with my family. I was very pearly, very personal. But reaching the absolute, I became impersonal. Like everything comes and everything goes, no attachment, let it go. But this feeling felt almost like nostalgic. I missed it. And I remember, I remember judging, saying, "Oh, I am becoming foolish again. You know, I want to be attached. I want to connect. I want to bond. But now, why don't you accept freedom?" Then I realized, no, I wasn't. Something was empty in my heart. You know?
So may I ask, Faisal, during that time when you were sort of in a Zen non-attachment space, let's say,
yes,
the way that manifest in the world with others was what?
Acceptance, openness, presence, non-attachment, just being there. But it always felt that, we are all in the same thing, in the same field, in the same presence, no barrier, no boundary. I could feel them, but something about the personal was not so important. The personal.
So as a therapist, you're saying you're in this mode.
Even as among friends, even with family, it felt like I was also non-attached. Somehow I let go of that. I cherish them, I enjoy them, but there was like a distance of anything that's going to be personal. It felt like it could go into ego, and I stopped it before it could escalate into ego.
Okay.
So somehow there was a prejudice against the personal, because the personal was associated with ego and associated with attachment. And attachment means, interference and suffering and holding.
Okay.
So there were the impulses to be personal, and I wasn't like, I'm not a 5, I'm a 4. So I want to relate, I want to feel, I want to connect, but not enmeshed, not all of those things. I couldn't find the middle ground. I was teetering on, how to do it. And when I felt that feeling there, that I really missed that, as if a hole opened up, even though the absolute is here, awareness here, but there was a hole in my heart. And when I felt the hole, I felt, I really was missing this precious connection, away from the attachment, away from the ego. The ego is there, it's always there, it's not, but there was also something more personal. I couldn't sit with my ego, with my clients, just detached and not attached and not feeling and not sharing and not connecting. So that led to the feeling of the hole in my heart, and the hole, as if something started to as if the heart became like a manger. And in the manger, there was like soul child, little drop of pearl, there, glowing.
Little Jesus.
Yeah, and then it developed into more like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then came these vehicles. These are major archetypes. They help with the personality structure, and those qualities can come in any color, any lights, and they help enhance our experience of ourselves and of life in multifaceted ways. I believe those vehicles can be even detected and measured by science. The Oberon machine can detect some of those emanations, but I feel we are in the threshold of a greater science that's going to open all the veils. There'll be nothing called mystical, mysterious. You have to go to the Tibet or something. It happens in downtown Berkeley. This is how most of those essential states happen, downtown Berkeley. And it doesn't have to be kosher food. We had kosher food and non-kosher food, and it happened. We used to drink coffee and cream cheese and bagels, lousy, but it happened. So this is the hope that These essential state, this dimensions, this is what we are. Just because we get separated from it, cut off from it, it doesn't mean it has become in heaven or spiritual. It's human. In fact, I tell you, the absolute to me is the human being. This is the being. If you ask what is the being of humanity, is what they call Buddha nature, enlightened nature. Mm-hmm. Allah is the human being. There is nothing to me beyond the human being. Nothing.
So it's the life force that is the being.
The life force is the human being. But the human soul is not the being, something else. It's existing in the being. So there is the being, there is the soul, there is the mind, there is the body. You know? All of that from, I love it, the guidance of the Christ when he says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the ego and I am the absolute and all the range in between. All. This is the glory to me of what we are, the human being. The whole universe is nothing but the human being. It's being of the human. We created this being and it creates us. That's another teaching, you know, the glory about what we are, the human being. There is nothing beyond the human being. We are the Alpha, we are the Omega, I am the way, I am the light, I am the truth. He didn't leave anything. You know, I mean, he could be very narcissistic, but that's what we are. Ultimate narcissism. And for me, there is no healing for narcissism, for our alienation, for our suffering. All humanity are narcissists. They are all seeking self. Everybody looking for themselves. That's narcissism. Why is all humanity plagued by it? Whether visible or invisible, whether obvious narcissism or unobvious narcissism, whether healthy narcissism or pathological narcissism, we all suffer from that. Why? Because we seek who we are. We seek who we are because we are the most glorious there is. God is the ultimate narcissist. Read the Bible, I and me and myself, all the time, God talking about, you know. Really. So that to me simplified everything. It didn't diminish anything. It's glorious. We are glorious in a glorious kingdom. God knows, I hope someday we know the knowledge of how we came to be. How did we do this magical, awesome kingdom? But every human being can reach pure being, can reach the essential states, can develop an ego, can interact with this world. It's accessible to us. But it needs work now. I pray the day come when the doors or the locks will be opened. Now there are seals to those domains. I don't know why we can't just all humanity feel the absolute. Like, you know, why can't the fish feel the ocean? Why is enlightenment something to be reached? As if the fish have to go a long distance to reach the ocean. It's in the ocean. Why can't we realize it? Why isn't this awareness that's looking for it? Is it itself? It's very little awareness that's searching for it. Is the drop from the ocean? Why can't this happen? There are this phenomena that we live in that's really amazing. Fish in the ocean cannot feel the ocean, wondering what the ocean is. But the good news, that thing I share, as I said, I am a pioneer. I go explore and I say, look, there is chandeliers, there are essential vehicles, there are these things. Please open up, please have the courage to look, deal with the issues that come up, follow some of the guidance and all of those things. And let's open up to the kingdom at hand. He mentioned it 2,000 years ago. He said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. As a friend of mine said, paradise, you can read it as parade eyes, where the eyes parade. And where do the eyes parade? Here it is.
Mm.
The absolute became essence, and essence became trees and sky and air. It is the kingdom manifesting. That's to me the hope, the news. The hard work is something else. How to reach it. I just share some of the glory of this, you know, what I've seen, trying to summarize it, trying to encourage it, trying to aspire people, advise them, please be careful. Be really careful. This journey is very challenging, and it requires patience and wisdom and perseverance and guidance and companionship. We really need companionship. We need to counsel each other. We need to guide each other. We fall into traps and holes, you know, that we need love and care to reach it, to navigate it. But the kingdom is here.
I call it dharmic siblings.
Yes, yes, beautiful. We need that.
You have to be non-binary now.
Yes, we need that. We really need that. But this is the glory.
So Faisal, this is an exquisite bookmark for our next conversation. And I would love if you would, once again, just brief summary of the three realms, right? What you're talking about, just a summary.
Yes. Yes. The three realms, one is visible, one is what we see, you know.
Relative world.
This world, the relative world. And as I said, even though we are in it, we don't see much of it. We're just, you know, we don't even see the atoms. We don't even see, you know, all of those things.
Our limited lens.
Yes, limited lenses. And hopefully we'll know more and see more and learn more and cultivate it. But we also came a long way. We came from cave times to now we're talking in Zoom, you know, and all of those things, we came really a long way. And that's something really beautiful to see how much we see in this realm. But this realm is also infused with another realm. It's not separate. It's not isolated, you know. It's like, I think of like the oil lamp. Did I mention it, the oil lamp?
Mm-hmm.
That if you have the old oil lamp, there is oil, and inside the oil, there is a wick coming. Mm-hmm. And then if you burn the tip of the wick, there is the flame. The absolute or essence is like the oil. The mist that comes through the wick is like the essential states. The flame is like the chakras and the physical universe and the world. Okay. So they are all interconnected, or like the lotus, the roots in the mud, that's the absolute. The stem in the water, that's the essential state. The flower is in the air, the sun, that is the relative world we live in. So there is this relative world. Subtler than this relative world, and we have discovered so much of it now, X-rays, alpha, beta, gamma, so many things, is another dimension, another frequency. And this dimension, we call it the essential domain. It's a domain of rich qualities. Most often, people experience their effect, but they don't question exactly what it is. There is no human being that doesn't experience essence. You know, no way. Sometimes you experience love. Sometimes you experience joy. Sometimes you experience peace, stillness. Sometimes you experience celebration. We know those feelings. We experience those feelings. But very little we ask, what gave me sense of this and gave me sense of that? Are they all the same? Is the feeling of joy the same as the feeling of groundedness, the same as the feeling of courage, the same as feeling of clarity? If we begin to examine, you begin to detect that joy feels different. Maybe joy is in the heart, but clarity may be in the head. Maybe solidity is in the belly. If we begin to examine, we experience that what we call emotions and feelings and state are really something more than what we are paying attention to. We are paying attention to the effect, but we can go and concentrate and try to feel, then we feel the suchness of it. Some of it feels like fire, some of it like oil, some of it like water, some of it like air. You really feel different sensations. These are the essential qualities orbiting. And if you look beyond their effect, you discover there is a whole dimension of them. There's so many, there's emanation of golden flow and diamond flow and silver flow, substances existing. And these substances exist in the earth, with the body, with the human psyche, but they are subtler frequencies. Even though they are denser than the physical universe, but they are subtler to detect, because we are so busy running in our ego to the point we haven't cultivated the ability of sensing and detecting. So when you land more in that domain, you feel more substantial, substance in the body, more warmth, more coziness, more relaxation, more ease, more expansion. Then you feel as if you are sinking deeper and deeper in relaxation and openness. Then you enter the third dimension, which is pure presence, awareness. You feel there is awareness that's always here. It doesn't have any of those substances, but those substances as if they emanate from it. And that is a feeling of like space, open, empty of any content. The only thing it has is a presence that feels, absence of any quality, but at the same time present. Density and also lightness. It's just an amazing field, so hard to define, but can be experienced. In fact, it is not different from the awareness that now make you concentrate on hearing what I say, and my awareness make me aware of what I say. This little subtle thing that make me aware of what I'm saying, if I pay attention to it, if this awareness turn into itself, look at itself, it's the same as this field. It's the same frequency of that field. Now, could that field also be measured? I think it can be measured. I think it's an electromagnetic field. It can be measured. It's a unified field. Einstein put the theory for it. And how things come from it is amazing. There is a knowledge that to me goes beyond all what I said. All what I said is awesome. Dimensionality, the dimension of the relative, the dimension of the essential, the dimension of the absolute, all as one kingdom is awesome. And we know so much here and know so much there. But I believe there is a knowledge that has been sealed from humanity. And someday it will be revealed. And this knowledge will be the mother of all knowledges. This will be the grandmama. Not the knowledge of enlightenment. The knowledge of enlightenment is known. This is now hidden, preserved. And I really pray someday I am around when this knowledge is revealed. It's not my job to even come close to it, but I have glimpses by others who know more about it. And it opened my heart and mind to possibilities way beyond science and spirituality and all of those things. The knowledge of creation, the knowledge of the Logos. I call it the knowledge of the Logos. The divine knowledge that all of this can come through. And in it is all what is this material realm, what is, as somebody says, like today said, what is water? We say H2O and all, but what is water? We don't really examine. And what is the essential domain? We say love and joy and all of, what are those frequencies? And we say the absolute. Well, what is the absolute? It's a field. What is that? How did that happen? How do they all orchestrate? All of that, I believe there is a knowledge waiting for us. I don't know waiting for what, to be revealed, but it is waiting to be revealed. And that's the deepest I've seen so far that I've known, is that this exists. And the glimpses I've learned about it has stunned me, has really um, inspired me beyond any imagination, but it's way beyond my reach. You know? Mine is pioneering, riding my horse and sometimes my camel. And discovering this state and this issue coming with it and that issue coming with it, and where is it located in the body, and these things. This knowledge has been very precious, great help in the psycho-spiritual realm. It really revealed such richness to us and such capacities of healing and transforming, and answering so many questions in the psycho-spiritual realm that puzzled me, and I got lost in them for so long. And friends of mine and students, I see how much they got lost, and this answered this knowledge that has come has answered so much of it. It's not the knowledge of the Logos, it's the knowledge of essence, psychology, spirituality, the kingdom we live in, the threefold kingdom, and who we are. That we are cosmic citizens. We are cosmic beings. Now living a human experience, experiencing this body and this limitation. But we are cosmic beings. Glorious beings. Christ was a human being. Buddha was a human being. Dalai Lama is a human being. Like us. Maybe tall order, but can be reached. That's our potential. We are seeds of infinite potentiality. That's the glory to me. It's, wow, this is really glorious. The human being is glorious.
Such an inspiring view.
Yes, really, it has inspired me and gave me the courage to break down all the intimidations coming from superego or from lostness or from religion, from even spiritual. The last idol I had to struggle with and break, like sometimes I feel like I am like Abraham, the Prophet Abraham went and broke all the idols. And the last idol I had to struggle and break was spirituality, because I idealized spirituality. Then I saw spirituality, and most of the spiritual people, as I said, gurus and all, were absolutist. Then I had to break this idol, not the absolute, not the spiritual teaching. It's beautiful, but this excessiveness, this sometimes, like this idol, this like became another religion. And it became, I don't know, food for so many narcissistic spiritual gurus and teachers. Some are genuine, but some are just became, lost. So many gurus got lost in this journey.
Yes. And still.
And still.
And they're still falling.
And still falling, and the story continue. But in the long run, it is also evolution. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. If I didn't go into the fall of idealizing the absolute beyond anything, I would not have risen. I had to go through that. Then to see, oh my God, I am prisoner. I'm prisoner of a paradigm. I'm prisoner of a certain way of thinking and idealizing. Not the absolute doesn't care. The absolute is here. I idealize it, I don't idealize it. It's here. It's the breath I breathe. It helped so much breaking those idealization, and I feel like, I hope it gives the courage, but in a balanced way, in a sane way, not in a rebellious, not in a counterphobic, six-ish way of saying, oh, all of those things. No, this is sacred kingdom, holy kingdom, built with love, with intelligence, with meaningfulness. When I think that a cell has 50,000 operations happening in a second, like, my God, what kind of a field enabling it to do, and what kind of a knowledge enabling it to do that, and what kind of a wisdom that's orchestrating all of this, what kind of a giant computer. The cosmos to me is a giant computer. Now it's just a giant computer. That's all the cosmos, the stars and all of those things, giant computer with all the three domains. And we are the magic of it. I remember what this was, the song of The Rose, do you remember that song?
Bette Midler?
Yeah, Bette Midler. And you are its only seed.
Mm.
That's the beauty of it. We are the only seed of this existence. We made it and it makes us. And it's a continual loop, evolving and evolving and evolving. There is no ceiling. There's no roof. Reaching the absolute is only the beginning, it's not the end. You awaken from the myth and you start the real. But to
so
inspire, to give the courage, the spirit. For me, I can transmit the spirit of things. The knowledge, there are so many teachers far better than me, more knowledgeable than me. Listen to them, learn from them, but take the flame from me, the spirit. You know, this, I want to transmit it. There is nothing to fear except our fears. Handle them with care, with reverence, with wisdom, and discover the kingdom.
As you said that, I was going to say, I so appreciate the inspiration that you convey. That it's in your heart. It's a transmission of, yes, we live in a world that is questionable at times, and there's the shadow side, and there's all sorts of stuff going on, and there's so much beauty and so much yet to be revealed, and it's all worth attending to.
Yes, yes, yes. And to keep this flame to this jewel, this diamond, that there is still a mother knowledge that has been sealed. In the Bible, it says that we all spoke one language. Then God broke the Tower of Babylon and we started babbling on, speaking tongues. What happened? What is the mother of all the languages? What's in that knowledge? What's in a word? What's in the Logos? What's in when the Aborigines say, the Aborigines say that our ancestors walked the earth and created creation by singing it, by the word. That is the mother of all languages. In the beginning, there was the word.
There was the word.
And the word was with God. And the word was God. And the word became the flesh. It went through evolution. From pure abstract to with creativity, then being the creator, then became the human walking on earth. Wow, what is this? What is this knowledge? Where is it?
Continually expanding complexity.
Yes. Evolving, expanding with knowledge, but this knowledge is hidden now. I know for sure it's hidden. There are glimpses of it here and there.
Well, that was a wonderful summary. Thank you. I wonder if you could just offer some guidance in terms of what those of us who are watching
Camel.
Do.
Camel. Cultivate your camel, really, you know. Meditate, regardless of how useless it may seem, regardless of how off it may seem, regardless of Eastern or West. Meditate, sit, breathe. Make it an offering of love to yourself, an offering of love to your body, to your heart, to your mind, to your psyche. You want to nourish them. You want to relax them. You want to disengage from the world and its busying, you know. 15 minutes here, an hour here, 2 hours here. It is a form of nourishment. It is not, don't turn it into religion. Don't turn it into spirituality. Turn it as a form of love and nourishment. Meditate. Pay attention to breathing. I found breath is like the greatest gift we have. And so far, we don't even pay taxes on it. It's free. You know? Even now you buy oxygen, you know. But breathe a lot. The body loves breathing. Often I say that, you know, excessive thinking, neurotic thinkings, and all of these things, obsessions, is because the brain is not getting enough oxygen. Breathe. The brain, the excessive neurosis thinking will dissipate. Your brain will rest and you feel bliss and you feel light and you feel simplicity and you feel normalcy. Meditation, breathing, there is so much now. Our time is really like a beehive buzzing with teachers coming out from the caves and the monasteries and all of that, and they are offering courses here and courses there. I believe in New Age therapy is really beautiful. It's not like you are sick and you go to fix yourself. You are a treasure and you want to discover it. You want to discover this potential. And what is covering this treasure is your childhood conditioning. What happens to you in childhood made you lose all the treasures I'm talking about. Your gold, your diamond, your love, your joy, all of these covered by depressions and working on your psyche and your psychological structures, working on your body, enhancing it with meditation, with spiritual exercises, will set you free, will enhance you, will empower you. You walk the earth more loving, more joyous. Spirituality becomes like you're breathing. It's not like a task to be done. But I feel humanity has left this part. We focus now so much on materialism. They cornered us in one plane, and deprived us from so much richness and potential we have. We need to incorporate our spirituality. We need to bring this part of our soul, the hidden two realms, into our humanness in our daily life. But we also need to humanize spirituality. Spirituality has become an elitism, get enlightened and get, and transcend. No, it needs to be humanized. You bring your treasure to each other, to our children, to our friends, to our earth. That's what the soul is about. We got incarnated, and the soul want to incarnate and has a purpose in incarnation. It doesn't want to go just to be the absolute and just be in the absolute. Otherwise, why should it come? Just stay there. No, we go to the absolute to rest, and then we come, incarnate, do something, and go back. So we can continue this task. Cherish the soul. Find your bliss. Find what really brings meaning to your life. It might not be that glorious, but it might be so like a cell. One cell can heal 10,000 cells around. To let go of any grandiosity about it. But it's a love affair to me. It's like loving what we are and who we are. But, you need the camel, patience, perseverance, groundedness, steadiness. You could sit and cry, meditating, cry for hours because nothing is happening. You're just feeling aches and pains. Cry till the crying is released. Then you feel some nice feelings in the body. But if the moment you reach some crying, some aches and pain, and you run away, it's like, didn't reach its fruition. But please integrate spirituality in your life. It's part of us as a human being. It's part of our inheritance. And as the Dalai Lama said, I said, never give up, no matter what.
Okay.
Never give up.
Really. I think we have some extraordinary bookmarks for our next conversation.
Okay. Thanks so much for making this happen, really. I appreciate it.
Completely my honor.
Talk it, in a way I hope I can talk it in a way that reaches most of humanity. My task has been to humanize spirituality as well as spiritualize humanity. I wanted to tame this, thing and make it what it is. It's a human. Spirituality is about humanity.
All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faisal.